So today we're going to be showing how to not only do the colposcopy, but the setup for the colposcopy. I do have it in order that it is done. So we have our speculum with our vinegar solution and our swabs, ECC biopsy, the spiral brush along with the Moncels, and we have a faux cervix with our lovely provider over here. There we go, and let's get started. So we are going to start with the speculum, which would be in a sterilized package, but for the demonstration we took it out and added some lube on there, which we will hand over to our provider. Next, we will be handing off the vinegar solution, and that will be sprayed onto the cervix, which will allow the provider to see any areas of concern that need to be biopsied. After the solution is sprayed, we hand off 4 big GYN swabs, and you want to make sure you're handing it with the end to the provider. She will then brush the vinegar solution all over the cervix, and again, that will then light up any areas of concern that need to be biopsied. After those swabs are done, she will then throw them away, and we will be ready for the next step, which is the ECC biopsy, which are these 2 brushes here, and it will be biopsied, then cut into this thin prep vial here. And again, make sure you hand the ends to the provider. ECC biopsy. You will take the first one, put it in there, grab the next one, place it in there as well. After the ECC biopsy is collected, you're going to take your wire cutters and you're going to cut the brushes into the thin prep vial. These pieces get thrown away. After the ECC biopsies are collected, we will then be using a spiral brush to biopsy the areas of concern. When opening this, you want to get to the end, peel these 2 open, just enough for the provider to grab the edge of it, and remove. That spiral brush will then collect cells to be examined. We will then take that brush and put it into this vial where it will snap off, and this will be thrown out. After that is done, if the provider feels that there is a need for Moncels, which is this mustard-like solution, you will then get a big GYN swab, place Moncels as so, hand that off to the provider, which will then be placed on the cervix, and the Moncels will actually turn the blood into coffee-like grounds and control the bleeding. That gets thrown out. After the procedure is done, you just want to check on your patient, see if they have color, if they're turning pale, and ask them how they're feeling. If they're feeling faint or dizzy, you want to offer some pretzels or Gatorade or water, depending on what the provider instructs you to give the patient. After the procedure, you do want to make sure that your labels are on the containers labeled ECC biopsy, and this one will then be labeled as biopsy, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever your provider instructs you to write on here. So you want to make sure that you confirm the name with the patient along with the date and so on and so forth. The only thing that you do keep besides these 2 samples are the speculum, and this gets autoclaved. Everything else, besides your necessary things for the procedure, are to be tossed away.